Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at a fish and a wish. Absolutely love this set. It's a stamp set with a coordinating punch. If you buy them both together you get a 10% discount. So you can do all sorts of punching, whether you're doing it with cardstock, different colours to cardstock, all sorts of things in there. Beautiful little images to punch out. Also, you can stamp this one and they both punch out. And then you've got these lovely background pieces and things that, oh, just lovely. So we're going to do something with this, and we're using also some of the new in colour papers, which are the 6x6 2022 to 2024 in colours. So the new in colours that have come out, you get a pack of paper and there's different designs in them. I showed them the other day, so I'm not going to go through and show them again. And we're going to do a bit of embossing. So we're doing embossing with white. You need an embossing buddy of some sort. We don't stock one anymore, which is a shame, but you can actually fill a little bag with corn flour or just flour of some sort. You need something to make sure that your card is not going to be static. And of course you need a stamp. You also need some Versamark, and that's the one thing I didn't get out, so hold on. Let me grab my Versamark from the shelf. And Versamark is an inky, is a sticky ink, so that it means that the powder will then stick to it. So if you haven't done embossing before, that's what you need, and you also need an embossing tool. Now the Stampin' Up one is really good. I've had it a long time. You have a stand so it will sit and rest nicely, and you have two settings. So you have a low setting and you have a high setting. So it means that you can dry things on the low setting, you can do your embossing on the high setting, or turn it down and do it on the low setting if you're using vellum or tissue paper or something that you don't want a lot of heat on. Okay, so I have taken the lovely Tahitian Tide, beautiful turquoise colour, and I've coordinated it with the paper. So this is what we're going to be using to start off with, and I wanted to do some embossing on it rather than stamping. So I could have stamped in the same colour ink, but this pattern has some lovely sort of little white pieces in, so I thought it would look good if it was embossed. So let me just get this in on my stamp. And then I need my ink. You can see it's been well used. It's all sorts of colours. Embossing buddy to start off with, and you just need to just rub it across, and it stops the static. Depending where you live, you get more static in certain places than others. And also, if you've got any little greasy marks on there from your fingers or anything like that, it just stops that adhering to it. You know, it's not completely foolproof, but it does help a lot. Okay, so we're going to ink this up. And you can see, I hope you can see, it gives sort of a shiny stickiness to it. And we are just going to work our way up on here. Now I can just about see this, but I'm sure that you probably can't, but I don't think it really matters too much. So I'm going to do some slightly on and slightly off, down on this side and down on the bottom. I'm not sure about doing, I think I want to do one so it just comes off. So I've got it down both sides on here. And then I'm going to take, and I always take a piece of copy paper. If you've got lots, you can do it in a pot or a bowl, but I tend to do it with copy paper because embossing powder lasts for ever and ever and ever. So this is white, and I'm literally just going to sprinkle it across. And you can see I've had mine for, oh, I don't know, good few years now, and you know, it lasts. In fact, I've got a little black star in there from something. So you can just tip it all on, take it up by the edge so you're not getting your finger on it, and shake it off, and you can see you've now got this with the lovely powder on. And then all you do is you can take this very carefully, and as I say, if you have done lots of embossing, then you won't need to know all of this. But if you're fairly new, which I know I've got quite a few subscribers now that are just starting off on their stamping journey, so a lot of things are quite new to them. And you can see, if you get that in, you've still got all of it left, plus my little star. I probably should take that out of there. So I'm going to keep my embossing or my little piece of paper, put my lid on, because it's one of those things, if you don't put the lid on, you can guarantee you'll knock it or spill it. So I'm going to take this in on here like that, put this in, and then the best idea is, I'm going to do this off camera a little bit, is to heat the heat gun first of all. So you turn it on, and there will be a noise, but I can talk over the top of it so you'll still be able to hear me, and just allow it to heat up a little bit, because then it is quicker and your paper doesn't warp so much. So you then literally just take it on there, and you'll see that it will start to turn nice and solid. And this is a nice one because it's got different sort of light and dark pieces on it, so it's not completely solid anyway, which is rather nice. So it's quite a nice one to do. And then we'll take it round on the other side. And the idea is that you don't, it's quite, you saw me do it a little bit, don't waft it, just very gently move it across, and you can see when it changes its colour. So you don't actually need to, I'll turn this off now, you don't need to, you know, wiggle it about too much, do it quite slowly, and you should be able to see that you've got this lovely embossing on there. So that, I think, will work really well with this particular paper, because it looks as if you've got sort of little spotty bits going through with, could be bubbles in the water, but that I think looks lovely. So we're going to put this on there. I'm not going to do anything else on there. There are some other lovely stamps which I used before, but I just want to have this on this time to keep it fairly sort of plain. And I'm going to literally just adhere this straight away because I don't need any more. Now, if you look at the other side of the paper, that's what I'm going to use for the fish. And I've done some of it already, because it's a very simple, straightforward process. But I will try and show you one. So let's put this on here, because then it will allow the paper to flatten out nicely. And designer series paper is a little bit thinner, so you will find that it will stick quite nicely onto the edges. So if I turn it onto the other side, I can give it quite a nice sort of smooth, and it will have now adhered quite nicely and quite flat onto there. If you find it does warp a lot, you can always just stick it underneath something heavy, you know, stick it under your grid paper or something like that, just for a few moments for it to go down. But I think that that gives a lovely background. You could literally just put a sentiment on there if you wanted to, but we're going to be using the lovely little fish. Now, I've actually done some of these already, and this is in the other side of the cardstock. So as I showed you, that's this side that we've done on here. the other side of the paper has got this pattern on it. So what I did was I took this fish and this fish, stamped it in the same colour, so the Tahitian Tide ink, and then used the punch to punch it out. And then I've just mounted it on a piece of card. Do you remember I keep saying, and I'm still using this same piece, this is one of our backings that we have on the back of some of the designer series paper that we have, which is nice, quite thick sort of card, and it allows your images to not be quite so floppy, so that they stay a little firmer. And I found that that's a really good idea. So what I've done is I've done 2 of the big fish and 3 of the smaller one, and I'm going to put these in on here. So we're going to have 1, 2, and then we're going to have the other 3 coming down on this side, 2, 3, which I think will look quite good. I'm going to have this one in down on the bottom, I think, because I think I'm going to have my sentiment there, because I just missed the top of that little piece, but I don't think it matters that much. Okay, so what I can do is, if I wanted to, is to give the outline of the fish just a little bit more definition, and I can do that with a sponge dauber and some of the ink. So let's do that, because they're not sticking out or they're not showing at the best that they could be. So I'm just taking the ink. I've got a sponge dauber for each one of my colours, so, and I have them in a pot, so I'm just going to take out the Tahitian Tide, and then we're just going to take this just round on the edge of them all. And you can do it sideways or you can do it up and down, depending how much colour you want. So with this one, I want little bits with a little bit more colour and some bits with not quite so much. So I'm just going round all the way around them, because as I say, that will just give them a little bit more definition. Take these little ones. Which is always a good thing to do, because it just shows as well how well all our colours, the coordination of everything. It's one of the things that Stampin' Up is quite renowned for, and a lot of people have found Stampin' Up because of the coordination. You know, you don't need to try and find lots of different you know, you can never get the colours exactly the same and the paper exactly the same and things when you want colour coordination, whereas everything coordinates beautifully. So right, let's get to putting these on. Now I'm going to put them, it says me, I want to have them with a little bit of height in on there, so I am going to put them up with dimensionals. So I'm just going to get my dimensionals out of my drawer, and I think we'll be using, let's have a look and see, turn them over. I'm just going to put one large one in the middle of each one of these, because having put the card on the back, it stiffens it up anyway. And then this one, I think we need some, I think we probably need some minis on there, but no, I'm going to do a large one on the body. And I'm just going to do a little one in on the tail, because this one's a little bit longer, so that's the beauty of having the minis as well. They do work quite well, and I could put, just to be on the safe side, a little mini just in on where the tail is. It's probably a little bit of overload, but I think it'll be all right. Whoops, says it's sticking everywhere. Okay, so we're going to have 3 of these, aren't we? So we'll have 1. Oh, don't want to put them down yet, just in case I have them in the wrong place. So let's just put these up where we want them on here. So I think that's going to be about there and there. Half of that one off, so there and there. Then we can put, now I can see where I'm going on this. So we want 1 up like that. The other one in the middle, but you can see now that the fish have a bit more definition in them. So that one there, and then we'll have this one down on the bottom there, and then this one can go in between, in the middle, just about there, and we'll have this one just about there, like that. Okay, so I think that works quite well. And then all we need to do is to put a sentiment on, and I can have a sentiment. There's space there, you see, so I could actually put some sentiments in underneath. So or I could put it in on here and just emboss it and put it. I think that will probably work better. So let's have a look and see. We've got here for you. That's quite nice, isn't it? And that's a smaller one. I don't want a too big one. So let's have a look here for you. I haven't used that one. So we'll have a go at doing that. And I'm hoping that I think that these are quite, this might be a little bit thicker words, so let's have a little look and see, because what I want to do is I want to emboss the words as well, so we have them exactly where we would like them to be. And I'm giving a little bit of space because it could curl. If I get it too small, it could curl a bit. So again, embossing buddy, just to make sure that you have a good surface to stamp on. Versamark. Stamp it in the middle. Then a little bit of white embossing powder, which is there. Put that in on there. Don't need quite as much. Might even be able to tip the majority of that back in straight away. That's nice. Now, if you've got little bits that have just, that's better. Sometimes you find you do get a little tiny bit that's gone over, and you can always use a little brush to just brush those pieces off. But if you've used your embossing buddy or something to be able to do that, then you don't need it. Okay, so heating this up again shouldn't take too long because it's already been heated up once. And then we'll just do this on here. Again, you'll just see it will start changing colour. And you've got that says here for you, which is rather good. And so let's have a, oh, now I've got my grid paper has got a little bit warped in there now because of using the thing. You see that I think is going to work quite nicely. So I'm going to do that, and it needs to be on a little bit of white blue card. So I'm going to take that, just take this off like this. Like that. And then all I need to do is to just put that with, I'm going to put it with a little mat in on there, because then that will stick up a little bit. It needs to just come down a tad, just a little bit wide. So let's just take that down. Take that down, and then, as I say, I just need a little bit of blue, the turquoise cardstock. Let me see if I've got a little tiny piece. I've got a little bit that I haven't used. I tend to keep my scraps. I will find a little piece, because I don't want to use a large piece. And I'm going to just put a little mount on there, and then we'll have that in. But you can see how when you do it with, and I'll mount it on white card, when you do it with the embossing, you get a totally different look. But again, very, very pretty. And in fact, you could emboss on the fish as well. But I wanted to have the white at the background and the blue at the front. But I think it works pretty well. And as I say, we used a fish and a wish, and then the fish builder punch, and both of these are, you'll find below links to those. We used some white embossing powder, and we used the Stampin Up 2-tone embosser, and the Tahitian Tide, which is the beautiful colour. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.